to really dive into this, because I was with Coach Malzahn, and we had 3,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher, and then another guy who had like 800 yards rushing and a 5,000-yard passer. We were the first offense in the history of college football to do
Wow.
that when I played in college. And so a lot of that was we had really good players, good scheme, and it was tempo. You could go like the game was different back then. You could run 95 plays a game, or like you could really max out the tempo. And so when we lost, I started just looking at the study of football, like what are the offenses. I studied every single offense in football. At first, I was really just copying the West Coast passing game that I learned in junior college in the NFL and Gus's run plays. Like I was really just copy paste. Like I was like, oh, I like this play, I like that play. Let's do this, right? And then I got some players that weren't, up to snuff as far as like we were going to be at a talent deficient. We were talent deficient of where we were at. I took over the last ranked team in the state in two different states. And so I was just like, all right, I got to figure out something that's different and unique because if you can't beat people at their own game, then you got to find a way to do it differently. So that's when I came up with I said, I saw somebody line up the way that we do with two backs on the same side, but they just ran like a quarterback. It was like quarterback right. Like they didn't even like really do anything out of it. And I'm thinking like, man, the West Coast offense started out of two back. The triple option started out of two back. The air raid started out of two back. What
Hmm.
if we started doing this? And then I started asking all the defensive coaches, you struggle with, what do you consider two backs on one side? And every
Mm.
single defensive coordinator gave me a different answer.
Memphis 10 in this tight, man. All the way here.
Memphis 10,
Memphis 10 in this
Dirty
tight,
Dime.
man. You already know what's up. Yeah, Uncle Neely in the house.
Let's go pregame show from New Orleans, all the way from New Orleans. Hey.
Look, let's just dive right into it, boss. Like you've had the winter off season, you had spring ball, you've been there to witness strength and conditioning, do some classroom stuff, and of course, from time to time, the players are off doing their own thing with PLPs. But as we sit here in mid June, late June now, as a matter of fact, what's your assessment and direction of your offense and getting locked in?
Yeah, the word I would say is really just development. I mean, just really the whole man, not just the football side of it, but what we've done in the weight room with Swayze, as far as developing the physical, the mental aspect of, really pouring into these guys, bringing in a psych team to work with them and really change a lot of these guys' mindsets. Spiritual Coach Niblet pouring into them from a faith standpoint. I mean, we've really just not skipped the letter in the process. We're just trying to make sure we hit every letter in the alphabet and make sure these guys understand that, it's not we just show up and get results. It's a process that it takes for that to happen. And every day, these guys have really, when they're in Boulder, we say it's work time. When we're in Boulder, it's time to sprint, it's time to work and maximize the minutes. And I think, I'm really proud of the staff and the players for maximizing the time when we're in Boulder, that we're all working towards a common goal and everybody's trying to be the best you for CU to be successful.
Love it.
Hey, we had Coach Shad on this week, and he talked about relationships and also recruiting. Can we talk about some of the guys' characteristics? We know smart, fast, tough, discipline with character. We want to talk about some of the guys that you guys have recruited, got commitments from, and looking to bring in next season.
Yeah. They told me back in the day I'm not allowed to use characteristics to describe people because I'm very visual. So I remember my first time in a meeting, and the coach asked me, "Well, what's the player's attributes?" I said, "Coach, he cut up like a bag of dope." It's like I gotta be careful.
My God.
But the things that the things that are important to us is does this guy love football? Is he a
Yeah.
person that has a great story, and is he doing it for somebody? Does he have a strong why? I think every young man that has visited our program, has really possessed those things. And so I always say, like, nobody knows, but the point guard who makes everything go is pretty Tony. Ray and
Absolutely.
Box, they do a really good job. Michaela, Rich, I mean, there's a lot of people in recruiting who don't get a lot of the credit, but they're the ones, making the calls every day, doing all those little things. We got little Peter Work Jr. I'm trying not to miss nobody. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys that uh, you know, Carl Reed's son, like, there's a lot of guys in there that are doing a lot of work to make sure we bring in the right players and they have the right things that we're looking for. I've been excited about the crop of kids. I've been excited about coaches, approach to letting us go get some of these high school kids and him, signing off on them, and like I tell a lot of these kids, like, when you get here, it's one thing to be stamped by a little recruiting guy in the room, no disrespect, but it's different when Deion Sanders says this guy's a guy. Like, if I'm playing DB and Coach Prime tells me that I'm a guy, he handpicked me, hand selected me. If I'm playing receiver, DB, I'm looking like that's that's the stamp of approval I need right there. If I didn't have all the way, if my confidence wasn't supreme yet, that would take my confidence to a new level. And so um, like, these kids have to understand, like, who they're actually getting to work with. I've been proud of the families that chosen us, regardless of what the results were last year. Um, they're choosing Colorado, and we're in battles with real teams. We're not in battles with, we're not recruiting just, lower tier guys. We're in battles with the top programs in the country that were in the playoffs last year, that went to the championship, that
Mm-hmm.
we're in battles with teams like that. So that lets you know the type of work that we're doing, and the caliber of player that we're going after.
Man, Coach, you said something that I really try to tell everybody in the building. I don't care what your role is in the organization, because every role is important to us winning games. And I simply tell them this: like, you have the head coach who is, no doubt about it, the best ever at his position,
Yeah.
arguably the best player in football ever, period. There's a good argument for that. And then he had the same level of Hall of Fame career in broadcasting and marketing and business. And if he has vetted you and tapped you and selected you to be a part of his organization, how do you ever wake up in the morning and doubt yourself? Like, if you ever let doubt creep in, when you realize, like, damn, look who wants me to be here, that got to mean something. And so I love what you said about that to the young people we've been recruiting. Like, you have been touched and selected by Deion Sanders himself.
No doubt. I mean, to me, I don't know how some of these kids grew up, but in my house, prime time was, like, it was a big deal. Like, just from the standpoint, I remember my mom being like, "Hey, boy, you can't. We don't like the Cowboys in this house." You know what I mean? We from Pittsburgh, like, we not. I'm like, I don't really like the Cowboys. I like Deion Sanders. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I tell people all the time, he was one of them ones that kind of ushered in that era of just rooting for a player rather than a team, especially for someone who came from a place like me who didn't have a professional team. And once he left Atlanta, he goes to San Francisco, then San Francisco to Dallas. We like that player. So if he's going to this team, we got to kind of cheer for this team also. So it's a
Absolutely.
different era.
Coach, let me hit you with this, man. Speaking of Coach Prime, uh, he didn't just hire you to, like, call plays. He hired you to change the identity, of this offense. And so I want to kind of fast forward. I know we're here in late June, got to go through July and fall camp in August and win these games. But I want to fast forward to, say, it's Thanksgiving and we sitting there eating Coach Solomon food before that last game. What do you want Colorado football to be known for, by Thanksgiving? What are people saying about your offense as we get to that time in the year?
Winning, toughness, guys that play together, explosive plays, and a show. I want that's what every player on our team is looking for. It's not about one guy. It's about the whole collective unit as a whole, and it's about being 1 point better than the opponents that we play. And whatever it takes to get that done, if that's running, throwing, 7 linemen on the field, a fullback, a tight end, 4 receivers, 2 quarterback, whatever it takes to get that done, that's the ultimate goal at the end of the game when the clock hits zero to be 1 point better than the opponents that we play. And so that's been everybody's mindset and goal, and everybody's working on that each and every day. Um, and we're trying not to, think about we go to Atlanta on this day. We're just trying to dominate each day and be 1-0 each day. And, so when we get the opportunity to actually play a game.
Tara C. Harris, managing partner of the Cochran firm Jackson, is one of the premier litigators in the United States. Dedicated to furthering the values of Johnny Cochran, Harris believes attorneys have a duty to restore voice to the silenced and give justice to the wronged.
The reason that you are a member of the Cochran firm is that you share my commitment to excellence to our clients.
Harris's success is credited to a set of core values shared by his team of attorneys, professionals, and staff.
You've proven to me that you care and you want to do the best job for all of our clients.
I'm here to make sure that they have a voice.
Named one of the top 10 trucking lawyers with a $150 million settlement, Terrence Harris continues to prove that he is committed to obtaining the best possible outcome for his clients.